Let's be honest, most bike reviews waste your time. They ramble for 20 minutes and still don't tell you if the bike's actually any good. This isn't one of those videos. G'day, I'm Kwackajack, and welcome to the highs, lows, and hell no's, a no BS series where I break down a bike into what actually matters. What's good, what's average, what sucks, and what it sounds like. For our first episode, we're looking at the Royal Enfield Bear 650. It's not just their latest, it might also be their boldest. With chunky proportions, a torquey twin engine, and styling that screams, "Look at me!" It's clear this thing is trying to make a statement. If you want a full in-depth riding review, that's already live on the channel. But right now, we're gonna cut the fluff and get into it. Alright, kicking off with the highs, the stuff that makes this bike a standout. There's no denying it, the Bear 650 turns heads. It looks big, it feels big, and out on the road, it carries real presence. It's tall, the handlebars are wide, and it's got a stance that says, yeah, I'm ready to go. Even the chunky tires and big LED headlight help give it a bit of intimidation factor. But what I love most about it is that it doesn't feel like it's trying too hard. Some bikes go overboard trying to look aggressive. The Bear doesn't need to. It's naturally big, bold, and confident without shouting about it. No matter where you park it, it'll draw a crowd. And trust me, when I spent time with it, it did. For a Lamb's bike, this thing punches well above its weight. That 648cc parallel twin, the same base motor used across RE's 650 lineup, is torquey, smooth, and incredibly easy to live with. But what stood out most was just how well behaved it is. You can cruise at 3000 RPM all day long without any hiccups, and if you crack the throttle open, it responds immediately. No lag, just predictable pull. The power it produces, 47 horsepower and 56 Newton meters of torque, is linear and accessible, but still feels meaty. The throttle mapping is also spot on. It's not twitchy, no sudden jerks, and the gearing, crisp with a solid click between shifts. I never missed a gear. It just feels polished and feels more expensive than it is. This is the bit that'll really catch you off guard. The Bear looks big and heavy, and it is chunky, no doubt, weighing in at around 215 kilos on the road. But the way that it handles? Freakishly nimble, especially the front end. You get a nice light feel through the bars, and it tips into corners better than some nakeds. You can push it through twisty stuff and it doesn't wallow. It holds a line and actually gives feedback. I genuinely thought it'd be a bit of a boat to turn, but it flicks in nicely and never felt like it was fighting back. Don't get me wrong, it's not a sport bike, but for what it is, it handles way better than expected. It's one of those bikes that makes you grin when the road gets twisty. After about 100 kilometers of spirited riding, and I wasn't taking it easy, I'd only lost 1 bar on the fuel gauge. Pretty impressive. With a 13.8 litre tank and this kind of fuel economy, you're easily looking at over 300 kilometers per tank depending on how you ride. And given how smooth and relaxing this engine is, it really lends itself to longer days out on the road. Alright, before we move on to the lows, let's listen to the stock exhaust in a few different scenarios. Pretty mellow note. Not obnoxious, not aggressive, just a clean, thumpy twin-cylinder sound that actually suits the bike well. You'll also notice that intake whine. This new exhaust doesn't sound as guttural as the ones on the Interceptor, but for a smaller capacity twin with a factory pipe, it's not bad at all. Now onto the lows. These aren't deal breakers, but they're things that you'll notice once the honeymoon period wears off. Visually, the seat fits the aesthetic well. It's low profile, a bit retro, very clean looking. But comfort-wise, it's a mixed bag. For shorter rides, you're good, but after about an hour, you will start to feel it. It is on the firm side, and there's not a heap of support. So if you're doing long day trips, you're probably gonna wanna upgrade, or at least take a break every 60 to 90 minutes. Thankfully, with the extensive, genuine, and aftermarket accessory list for this bike, you shouldn't have any trouble finding one that suits you. Here's the thing, the front is fantastic. The shower upside down fork does a great job, feels planted and smooth. But the rear end doesn't shine quite as bright. It's okay at lower speeds and on average roads, but when you hit a bump mid-corner or a rough surface at pace, it can start to feel jittery. There isn't a huge amount of travel or adjustability, and it rebounds quickly. This will lead to riders experiencing a firmer feel through the back end that at times can feel like it doesn't match the front end's composure. It's not bad, but it's something that a more experienced rider will pick up on, especially if you're used to bikes with more refined setups. Functional. That's probably the best word here. They work. ABS is standard, which is good to see, and the rear brake is switchable, which is always a nice touch. But actual stopping power and feel? Pretty average. The front brake lacks initial bite and needs a bit more lever pull than I'd like. On a smaller, lighter bike, they may be enough, but on this 215 kilogram one, you may find yourself wanting a bit more out of them. Again, it'll do the job, especially in daily riding or light touring, but if you ride fast or push it a bit harder, you'll notice. Thankfully, there isn't too much to complain about on the Bear, but there are two things that for some potential customers may be deal breakers. A lot of other Royal Enfields, especially ones aimed at touring or light off-roading, come with a center stand as standard, so the fact that the Bear 650 doesn't feels like a miss. Without one, doing chain maintenance, cleaning, or even checking tire pressures becomes more of a chore, especially for newer riders who don't have a paddock stand at home. This could have been a really nice addition, and I honestly don't know why it's missing. The Bear 650 is fitted with RE's latest round full-color TFT display, and in my full review I found it bright, easy to read, and I liked the style. For some purists though, not having the old school analog tack and speedo may be a deal breaker. The idea of a scrambler is a roadster that's been stripped back and fitted to do light off-roading. So the fact that this one gets a higher spec of tech than the already quite basic Interceptor Roadster may rub people the wrong way. Again, these are things that may be big deals to some people, but definitely not all. So there you go, the highs, the lows, and the hell no's of the brand new Royal Enfield Bear 650. It's a bike that really surprised me during my time with it. It looks great, rides smooth, and handles better than you'd expect from something this chunky. The engine is a highlight, the front end is sharp, and you should get some great mileage. Sure, the seat and rear shock could be better, and the brakes aren't exactly race spec, but for a lambs-friendly bike that delivers big bike energy without the big price, it's hard not to be impressed. There are one or two aspects of it though that for some may be deal breakers, but I think for most, it'll be a hit. And that's why I've been calling it the Big Bear, because everything about it punches above its weight. Big performance, big looks, big character. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and if there's a bike you want to see on the HLH series next, hit me up. If you enjoyed that, why not go check out the full review of the bike here on the channel. I do put a lot of effort into these videos, so if you did enjoy it, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have a whole lot more coming up soon. But until then, ride safe and I'll catch you in the next one.